Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching The Fall Guy, directed by David Leitch and starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. So despite this film being based on a TV show that most people don't know about, you don't have to see the original TV show to understand the plot of this film, which is about a stuntman who has to save a falling apart movie production, which is headed up by his former girlfriend, who was a camera operator and is now a director. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story follows Colt Seavers, played by Ryan Gosling, who is a stuntman for one of the most famous actors, Tom Ryder, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. When Colt Seavers gets ridiculously injured because of a stunt gone wrong, he ends up showing up to his girlfriend's new movie a year and a half later. His former girlfriend Jodie, played by Emily Blunt, has seemingly gotten over their former relationship, which was basically a fling, as she's been trying to move on with her career. But when the main star of her movie ends up going missing, Colt not has to essentially use his stuntman skills to their ultimate extent to find Tom Ryder, get him back to the movie set, and to try and make sure that Jodie's movie goes off without a hitch. So that's all I'll say about the story without spoiling anything. Stunt people rarely get the kind of credit that they deserve in movies, especially since they're the people who make a lot of the best scenes in action movies happen. So it's really nice to see a film like this not only give them some credit, but to also make a stunt man the star. Especially since the director of the film, David Leitch, was a stunt man himself at one point before he became a director. So I definitely buy Ryan Gosling in the role as a well-meaning, handsome stunt performer who just always gets overlooked because of the utterly insufferable actor he has to work for. And having Aaron Taylor Johnson end up being that guy does seem like a good fit, especially since uh, one of the jokes about him is he has a weird run, and I guess that's a dig at him for his portrayal of Quicksilver in the Avengers movie, Age of Ultron. Emily Blunt also does really well as Jodie. I think her her job as a director is handled pretty well. They get across how a director has to juggle a lot of different positions when they're in charge of an entire film, and how they can sometimes get a little in over their head with the amount of power they have to do multiple takes for scenes. Especially when she essentially punishes Colt Seavers for not letting her know anything about him for a good year and a half, which you could say is just her blowing off steam. And naturally, as this comes from the same studio as Atomic Blonde, the action scenes are generally quite impressive. They're creative, there's a different setup for each one. There's stuff with vehicles, there's stuff with hand to hand combat, there's stuff with gunfights, and all of it looks and sounds really, really good. But it's also a film that has a little something for everyone. It has a solid romance, it has some great comedy, it's got some fun action, and it's even got a good mystery plot when it comes to Tom Ryder's disappearance. I won't spoil what happens, but the ultimate answers about what happened and how affects everyone feels like an effective satire on film productions, and especially when it comes to how scummy both actors and producers can end up being. And anyone who's known the Hollywood business for the last few years knows that they can be downright criminal at times. So it is funny that a major Hollywood film got to portray those roles as genuinely awful and has them as the genuine antagonists of the film. Especially since I know plenty of producers and executives who have totally botched a film's performance or even a film getting released at all with their own idiocy and narcissism. So The Fall Guy is definitely a love letter to stunt performers, but it's also just a movie that has a little something for everyone to make sure that most people who see it end up enjoying themselves. That's why I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. See you next time.